What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the Pika Pika Papa, and I cannot put into words how excited I am for Phantasmal Flames. And we all knew this was coming, right? This was not a surprise. We've known about Inferno X. We always hear about the Japanese names that are trademarked far in advance of seeing the English names. But we have the official confirmation. Phantasmal Flames is going to be the second set in this awesome mega series that we're in the middle of right now. It's going to come out on November the 14th, so we have a lot of lead time. I'm going to be talking a lot in the course of this video, and really in many more videos throughout the beginning of August. I'm going to talk to you about how, because of where the market is right now, and because we have some incredible sets on the horizon, how strategic I have to be, how I have to be very, very careful with my money and how I'm spending it, because we are in a space right now that honestly, we just haven't been in a space like this in recent memory. And I know that sounds really crazy to say, but we have so many awesome sets that are just in the rearview mirror. We have Surging Sparks, we have Destined Rivals, everything is sold out everywhere. Yet on the horizon, we have incredible sets coming up as well. Obviously, Phantasmal Flames, it's going to have Mega Charizard, it's going to have Mega Gengar. Like, there is nothing more you need to know. This set is going to go absolutely insane, both from a collector and from an investor standpoint, and also just from a general Pokemon enthusiast standpoint. So everybody's going to want a big piece of this set. But what that can lead to is that can lead to some poor financial decisions. And this set could absolutely break me financially, because I know that I'm going to have no filter when it comes to buying this when it comes out. But what I have to do is I have to start strategically thinking now, and a lot of my videos over the next couple weeks are going to talk about how I'm making strategic buys. You got to take what the market is giving you. The market has taken away some opportunities right now, but it's also presented some really, really cool ones. So I'm going to talk about the areas of the market that I think have some opportunities and I'm going to be buying into, but I'm also going to be saving some money. So every single month I give myself X amount of dollars to spend on Pokemon cards. That's it. Hard stop. Not a penny more. So when a set like this is coming out in the future, if I do not want it to totally wreck me financially, I have to start saving some of those Poké dollars from today so I can take a bigger position on a set like this into the future. So that's what a lot of, not only this video, but a lot of videos in the future we're going to be talking about as well. Now, in this video, we're not just going to talk about Phantasmal Flames, but I think it's going to be really, really cool to also talk about how some Sword and Shield Charizards have performed, how some Scarlet and Violet Charizards have performed. We're going to talk about some of the big Gengar cards from the more recent generations and how those have performed, because when we think about this set, we all know it's going to be big, but the question is, how big is it going to be? Is this going to be an absolute record breaker, or is this just going to be another set that ends up in the really, really good list? Listen, I'm going to say it right now, it's going to be a record breaker. Everybody's going to want it. This set's going to be nuts, and I want to make sure that all of us are there in position to make the best informed decisions that we can when this thing is knocking on the door come November. So with that being said, listen, if you get into this video, if you're having fun, if you enjoy the content, we try and be forward looking, but also take lessons from the past, hit that subscribe button or give us a thumbs up. Those two small things go a really long way in helping my small channel out, and I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. So with that out of the way, what we always see with these new sets, and it is just a pattern that continues to repeat itself, is whenever we have these new sets on the horizon, whenever we know that there's going to be a new variant of a really popular Pokemon, like, we see the older variants take off in price. Now, Charizard can be a bit immune to that because Charizard really never goes out of favor. Charizard is always super popular, but even with all of that being known, like, these are the 3 Charizard cards from Flashfire. So Flashfire was the last time we had Mega Evolutions. Flashfire is a incredibly expensive set from a sealed perspective. You just can't find it anywhere. And you also have these 3 really valuable Charizard cards in it, which helps drive all of that excitement and all of that value. But as you look, I mean, even though Charizard usually has a really high price price point associated with it, all of these are still going up in value. It's got the Mega, it's got Charizard, we got Phantasmal Flames, which is coming out. So all of the momentum is just kicking butt and taking names. You got the secret variant there on the far left. Look at that thing. That thing is all the way up to $613. It's up almost 50% over the last 6 months. And then you have the regular non-secret variant right there in the middle, the Mega Charizard, right? That thing's up 90.48% over the last 6 months. And again, this isn't a huge spike. This thing has just been steady climbing. And then you got the other Mega Charizard one over there on the right, also from Flashfire, also a secret variant right there. And that one is up 95% over the last 6 months. Not quite as many sales as the others, but enough to really significantly see that price increase. So again, this is the pattern, even though it's Charizard, and this is one of the big lessons that I'm taking away from it. Even though it's Charizard, which usually has a very high price point associated with it, these cards have still been appreciating in value ever since we saw the Mega Set series be released, ever since we knew Inferno X was coming out, and I think some of these are going to continue to drive as we get closer and closer to Phantasmal Flames. But even with that being said, let's look at some of how the other Charizard cards have performed, because to be honest with you, when you think about it in its entirety, they haven't been really kicking the door down and kicking butt and taking names. Now, what I will say is, and we're going to talk about it while looking at these 4 cards, these are actually the 4 highest regular series Charizard cards from the Sword and Shield era, so non-promos. You got specialty sets in here with Champion's Path. You have 2 Champion's Path cards in here. You got the Celebrations card in there. Then obviously you have the Brilliant Stars Charizard in there as well. But when you look at where these prices are, I mean, the most expensive one right there is coming in at $217, and that's from Champion's Path. And then right behind it, you have the Brilliant Stars Charizard coming in at $213. And then, you know, the Celebrations Charizard was really flying under the radar for a lot of times, but now it's at $100. And then you have the Rainbow variant from Champion's Path there, which is actually down over the last couple months, down to $162. And I call that out because when you think about the Giratina, which is at $500, when you think about the Gengar, that's way north of $500. When you think about the Rayquaza at $700, the Umbreon, which is up there at $1,300 and change right now, like Charizard just hasn't had that kind of smack you in the face type card here as of late. But what is interesting to me is how the Charizard cards have been able to weather the storm better than most. If you watch this channel at all, you know that every single month I aggregate the value of the top 20 singles cards from all of these awesome generations: XY, Sword and Shield, Sun and Moon, Scarlet and Violet, and we look at how they move month over month. And Sword and Shield has been absolutely getting its tail kicked for the last 4 months. It has been down significant from a percentage standpoint every single month for the last 4 months. But when you look at the price graph for these Charizards here, yeah, some of them are down a little bit. And the Champion's Path one, the Rainbow variant there on the right, is kind of like the exception to the rule. Obviously, it's had a very rough couple months, going down from $210, dropping significantly down to $162. But the other 3 right there have been able to hold their water better than others. And that's what we have seen with Charizard in the past. Then you have that when you have these really big chase cards, when you have these really big name Pokemon from Awesome Set, like even when the broader market turns down, Charizard just tends to weather the storm a little bit better. And you can see that the Celebrations card has done really well. It's actually up significantly, up 46% over the last year. And you see that it's actually up over the last 6 months as well. And then that Brilliant Stars Charizard, man, I love that card so much. I think Brilliant Stars as a whole is under the radar. I think it's undervalued. I think this Charizard card is undervalued as well. And then Champion's Path, those ETBs are still like 150, 160 bucks right now. Again, I think that is a sneaky long-term play. I think those boxes are going to end up popping off, you know, like we've seen some of these other specialty series ETBs pop off that have been flying under the radar too. So I think there's a lot of upside there. But the real point of this graph is just to show you how well Charizard's able to hold its water in a downward market. And also the call out for here is, I mean, not having a card over $250 when we have so many others. In my mind, I'm thinking that this new Charizard, which is coming out, the Mega Charizard, might actually have the opportunity to break this trend. This could be a $300, $400, $500 card. Who knows, all the way on up. Maybe this will be the one that we've been waiting for. But it's all going to be dependent on pull rates too. So we'll just have to see what happens. Now, of course, I wanted to talk about what we've seen in Scarlet and Violet, and it's kind of the same story right here. You know, you've got the obviously the Chase Charizard there from 151, which was all the way up at like $280, $290, worked its way back down significantly over the last year. It is up 57%, but this is actually one of my favorite buys right now. This card under $200, I think, is a freaking slam dunk, especially as we get older and older. And, you know, 151 is coming up on being 2 years old, so I think that's a really interesting opportunity right there. And then you got the one from Paldean Fates over there on the right. Again, it was up at 220 bucks, then came down to 168. And then, you know, the Obsidian Flames one probably shouldn't even be on here. We always know that most of the time the third set in a new era is going to have a Charizard in it. It doesn't traditionally do very well. You know, just Darkness Ablaze didn't do well. Obviously, Obsidian Flames didn't do that great. Again, very favorable pull rates, but we have not had through Sun and Moon, or excuse me, through Sword and Shield and Scarlet and Violet, we just haven't had that big, hairy, nasty, like expensive Charizard card that I think a lot of us have been clamoring for. I think the hobby does well when you have a big, expensive card like that with the Charizard name on it. So we're just going to have to wait and see what happens, but I do think that there is some opportunity for a really big card here, and again, it's just going to drive this setup in terms of value. And the next thing I wanted to call out is Gengar, and I've been saying this throughout the entire Scarlet and Violet era. We have yet to have a big Gengar card in Scarlet and Violet, and I will be honest with you, understanding what cards are going to be in future sets is not my bread and butter. That is not what I do. I am big on taking lessons from the past, applying them to the present to give us some idea of what might happen in the future. From price appreciation standpoint, I'm a data guy. There are people out there who are better than me at predicting if there's going to be a special illustration rare Gengar in this set. I feel like there will be. I feel like there has to be, because when you look at its track record, I mean, in Sword and Shield, you have that Gengar VMAX alt art from Fusion Strike. That is the number 3 most expensive card in Sword and Shield. And outside of Evolving Skies, if you pull Evolving Skies out, it is the most expensive card in Sword and Shield, minus Evolving Skies. And then you got the Gengar card from Team Up there. That is the second most expensive card in Sun and Moon. It is from Team Up, which is obviously the most expensive set. You got the Lovebirds card coming in at number 1, but then you have Gengar coming in at number 2. Gengar carries a huge degree of value whenever the big chase card from the series comes out. Like we've seen it, even if you go to the XY era, right? XY has those incredibly expensive Charizard cards from Phantom Forces. So Charizard has a track record of, or excuse me, Gengar has a track record of success, and I fully expect if we get a special illustration rare in the newly announced Phantasmal Forces set, it will follow suit. We could end up with multiple cards over $500 if we get a special illustration rare of Gengar and a special illustration rare of Charizard. Again, I don't predict if that's going to happen, but it sure seems very, very likely. And then when you look down below, I mean, these are the 12 most expensive cards in Scarlet and Violet right now. You got a lot of prismatic evolutions up there. Obviously, you got Destined Rivals, you got Paldean Fates, but you just don't have You don't have a Charizard card, and you don't have a Gengar card, and it just feels wrong. So I'm incredibly excited about this set. I'm incredibly excited about the rest of the content that I'm going to do over the rest of these next couple weeks, because I'm going to be talking about being very strategic. I'm going to talk about taking what the market is giving us right now. Hopefully we're going to have a ton of fun. I know I have some fantastic learnings that I hope to impart upon you, and I hope you find value in it. If you do, and if you just enjoy it and have fun along the way, hit that subscribe button or give us a thumbs up. Those two small things go a long way in helping my small channel out, and I really appreciate it. All right, everybody, I will talk to you later, and I will see you soon. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.